Greetings, everyone. I'm Dina Patrice, and I want to acknowledge you for making it to the third and final audio session on how to quiet your fears and step into courage. And if you missed part one and part two, go ahead and pause this session to go back and listen to them. You know what? It's human nature to worry. But did you know that 85% of what you worry about, based on research, never actually happens? Let that sink in for a moment. Most of your fears never come true. That leaves 15% of the time when things might actually happen. And the same research reveals that when misfortune did occur, some people usually handle the situation better than expected. Not only that, they learn something valuable from their misfortune, oftentimes even feeling as though the fear was worse than the actual situation. But facing our fears doesn't have to be scary. Fortunately, you have within you the power to overcome your fears and embrace the happiness you deserve right here, right now. But how? Hang on, we'll get to that. For now, let's take a moment to recap from previous sessions. We all experience fear. Most of our fears will never materialize, and if they do, chances are you might handle it better than expected while learning something useful along the way. Once we shine the light of truth on what scares us, we often discover our fears to be unfounded. Let's shine the light of truth on some beliefs that may be holding you hostage to your fears. But first, I want to say that being fearless isn't about the absence of fear. Being fearless is facing the things in life that scare you, in spite of the sweaty palms and the racing heartbeat. Being fearless is realizing that what you want is more important than any fear you have of achieving it. Being fearless doesn't need to involve life or death situations. Being fearless is leaving a career for a better opportunity, falling in love again after being brokenhearted, forgiving someone who's disappointed you, falling down and getting back up again and again. When fear shows up, the boldest thing I've ever learned to do is to imagine a better outcome than the one in my mind. Then I take action to create what I want instead of what I don't want. Are you ready to step into courage more often? Then here are 4 ways to overcome your fears. Number 1, own your fear. Psychologist Carl Jung said, "What you resist not only persists but will grow in size." So, it goes with fear as well. Resisting fear expands it. Fearlessness comes from embracing your vulnerability, not by avoiding it. Number 2, reshape your fear. You're smart, and that can potentially get in the way of dealing with fear. Do you have a pattern of assuming the worst will happen? Having an active imagination can fuel our concerns. Our brains often overestimate our fears while underestimating our ability to manage them. The next time you're feeling afraid, instead of imagining the worst outcome, ask yourself, what's the best thing that can happen? And use your imagination to explore that scenario. Number 3, take a risk. Playing it safe often feels like a low risk proposition. But what if the opposite is true? What if playing it safe is actually a high risk approach? When people on their deathbeds were asked what they regret most, They usually lament over the risks they never took, not the ones they overcame. Number 4, build your courage muscle. If you've ever started a new exercise habit, you know that starting slow and working your way up helps to build your muscles. Developing courage is like building a muscle. Show up, start slow, practice your form, and do repetitions. Your fearless muscles may be sore at first, but once fearlessness becomes a habit for the small stuff you encounter, taking more courageous steps for the bigger challenges gets easier too. You don't need to climb Mount Everest to conquer your fear of heights, but facing your fears head on is the sure way to overcoming what's holding you back. Here's a quote from Audre Lorde. When I dare to be powerful, to use my strength in the service of my vision, then it becomes less and less important whether I am afraid. When it comes down to it, we might not have much control over the good or bad things that happen to us. Two critical things we do have control over is our mindset and our responses to our circumstances. Think of a fear you're facing or avoiding right now. Ask yourself, what would your life look like if you decided to face that fear head on? What would it feel like if you showed courage, even a little bit? The courage to take a risk, the courage to be yourself, the courage to love others, and the courage to love yourself. When you decide to take the initiative to confront your fears, you'll discover your inner strength. Will it be easy? No. Will you face obstacles? Yes. Will you make mistakes? Yes. But remember, your dreams aren't meant to collect dust on a shelf or to be taken with you to your grave. You've got within you everything it takes to break through your fears and become fearless. You've got courage in you, you've got creativity in you, you've got goodness in you. So, what are you afraid of? I want to wrap up this entire audio series by saying that facing my fears actually allowed my dream life to become my actual life. And I want to acknowledge you for listening all the way to the end of this series. I am Dina Patrice, and if you want your dream life or business to be your reality, then let's talk. Head on over to www.createwithdina.com and click the link to start our conversation. And please remember that you don't have to do this alone. I'm here to encourage you to create what you truly want, utilizing effective strategies, systems, and support. Most of all, sharing is caring, and feel free to forward this series to a friend, peer, or family member. Let's change the world together for the better. Bye-bye for now.